You need to be going where these individuals are. If it's church, go to church. If it's a conference, and they will run into you. Like somehow it's just going to happen if you stay in that arena long enough. And again, you may not want an entrepreneur. Go where I only know entrepreneurs.
There's some corporate conferences out here with some
That's what I'm saying.
men.
Go to some corporate conferences, and go to some retreats, some dating retreats, and Facebook groups and stuff. But that's just what I would do if I was looking.
Yeah, I would say, yeah, clap it up for that. Yeah, they're like, hey, I don't know about that one, brother. I need the money. I would say, a lot of times what I tell my single friends that are girls is like date somebody the opposite of your type. Because like sometimes the criteria that you got just might be wrong, and you just might have to date the dude that's corny and can't dress and.
They said you went too far with
that. I was with you for a minute, but
personally, honestly, I think a lot of that stuff can be developed. Like you could show, like if a guy that can't dress, he know he can't dress, and so he hoping he finds somebody with a little style that can help get him right. You know what I mean? Right? Neo, he can dress now.
I still can't.
He can, but he's pulling together, and it's like, but he match. You know what I'm saying? He all colors of black. He good. You know what I mean? But I do think maybe you should try, like, go on a date with a guy that you would never take a date from and be like, let me just see how this experience is. Because I don't think everything is about, like, let me just find somebody to marry tomorrow. Like, why don't you find out what you like and what you don't like? Date somebody, be like, okay, I like this. Well, no, I don't like that. That's the only way you really find out what you like. And it didn't always have to be about sex or anything. Just, like, get a chance to know people. And I think when you do that, you open yourself up for possibilities. The second thing is just, I do believe income is important, but if that's the only criteria, that's a bad one too. Kevin Samuels, is a tough subject for a lot of people, but I actually think he was telling the truth in a lot of areas. And because, a lot of times.
Don't start nothing in here, brother.
On a scale of 1 to 10.
Don't
and you can't use a 7. No,
I ain't in this.
They're going to pull the mics.
But listen. Honestly, I do believe, and this is men and women though, I just think women don't care about it as much as men do. Right? Like there's some guys that's not in shape, they don't got their stuff together, but they making money. And so women will look at that person and be like, well, I don't care, girl, because he got his stuff together. And that's cool, but I don't know a lot of guys that make that adjustment a lot of the times. And so sometimes I've seen people, I'm like, man, you definitely a dope person, but the guy that you looking at, I don't know if that guy gonna be looking for you. You know what I'm saying? And there's no disrespect because shoot, every girl that is super attractive wasn't always looking at me either. And so I think you do have to try to date some people that are a little bit different than your type and be open for people to grow. Like if you would have met Neo 13 years ago, you would be like, this is a broke dude.
That's ball. Definitely, bro.
I remember when Dave was selling T-shirts at the mall. When he was working at Cheesecake Factory. Like he's probably one of the few people I've seen the whole entrepreneurship journey for the most part, right? Yeah. And so a lot of times what you're looking for is that person now, not realizing you got to get with that person and develop them and grow with them till they become that person. And not everybody wants to do that.
That's right.
And can I add this, Cole? I think this not that question, but I don't want to I think this is important when you get married or get that you need to get some sort of coach, relationship coaching. Like I don't care how perfect you think your stuff is. Like we added a coach, it helped everything. And it's something I just learned, y'all, a year ago. I just learned my wife's love language a year ago. I didn't even know that. I didn't know that was a whole world. Strength finders, love languages, disassessments. Because now you immediately know what works for them and what don't work with them based on that criteria. So if I could tell anybody, I'm like, you need to go home today, get the love language. You need to go. Because I'll give you an example. Like for me, I bought my wife a car with her. I'm like, yo, this is about to be crazy. I got her rented out the Braves Stadium, like gave her the Lambo truck. I'm like, yeah, it's up. That didn't really do nothing. We went in the stadium. On the stadium, it said 9 things I love about you. She bought. I'm like, but I'm saying, so oftentimes it's, you gotta find what work. My wife just hold her hand, tell her you love her, spend time with her. That's all she want. She don't want nothing else. Say some kind words and it's on. But I just learned that though. So I say all that to say that's why I think coaching in every area of your life is critical. That's why, if you teaching ladies how to get, like, it's critical that they come to you because it's the fast pass on helping somebody get married. So I just think that was just something that helped me recently. I think that might help somebody.
I would also say personal development. So I remember I made a list of all the things that I could think about myself that need to be fixed for someone to love me. And not saying I don't have any value, but my ability to be nonchalant in real issues. That's like, it's just one of the things on my list. Personal development is so key, just working on yourself, the way you think. And actually, the more you develop, the things that you see change. So let's say when I was 18, 19, the woman that I thought I wanted to be my wife, that archetype, as I can continue to develop, they don't look the same. So when I changed, the things I saw changed. So now I'm able to, I'm in this real personal development space in the 6 months where I meet my wife. And the things that I see, I'm like, yo, I'm not gonna be able to find that nowhere else. But I continue to develop. So as you continue to develop what you see, how you feel, being able to manage your emotions, the places that you decide to put yourself in, the conversations you decide to entertain, as you start to develop in that process, the people that walk by you every day and try to talk to you, you're gonna find out, like Gigi said, oh, that man fine. Hold on, I never looked at the person that way because you're seeing it from a different lens. So that's been my hack.
What you got for the single ladies, Maddie?
Struggle for my
Shoot.
I have a framework.
conversation.
He's got a framework for you,
framework
ladies.
when it
Listen,
comes
meet
to-
us at our business conference, okay? The answers get way better. You know what I mean?
Facts.
This is not.
Facts.
The framework I use is in relationships in general, but you got to prioritize what the most important relationship, obviously, outside of God is your relationship with your spouse. So for me, typically when people say you're a cheater, it's typically referencing somebody who had some type of adultery or had a sexual encounter with somebody else. But cheating is cheating, right? So the question is, how can we use the word cheating in other areas? That's the question I ask myself. I realize the reason why people don't call each other cheaters for anything else outside of messing around the boundaries of sexual acts is they're not making enough agreements. So when I got married, one thing I recognized that got mentioned by the officiator was that we made a covenant. Now, I understand that a covenant is another word for contract, but contract has terms. So the question I have to ask myself is, what should be in the terms of this agreement so we can be on the same understanding, we can have the same expectations? So I realized I created a framework, and the framework included how I want to be supported. So it was financial support, intellectual support, sensual support, it's experiential support, and also the last support was making sure that I understood how I wanted to be supported emotionally as well. So as I made that list of how I wanted to be supported, I also need to ask, how does she want to be supported in those categories as well? So the question that should be brought up is, when it comes to relationships, who is going to initiate the conversation of how you want to be supported in those categories, and making sure that you have an agreement, a covenant on how you can actually help facilitate it. So that was one of the key pieces. And the second key piece for somebody who's single is having, kind of tied into what David Sharon said, was there's no elevation without self-evaluation. The question is, how do you self-evaluate? And like Neo said, you need coaches, mentors, and trainers.
Yep.
And if I'm an athlete, I play basketball, I have a basketball coach. It would be kind of weird if I told you I played professional basketball and didn't have a basketball coach. Relationships is one of the biggest things. So having a relationship coach is key.